Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do something a little bit different. You can see here already I have an ABIT BE6 II on my table here, and this board is coming from my last trip to the scrapyard. What I want to do today is to pick the items that I found there and build a slot 1 system. So the BE6 II is one of the boards I found there. This is a in-between revision, just in case you're curious. It has an Ultra ATA66 RAID controller here, that's why we have 2 additional IDE ports, the white colored ones. Otherwise, this board is equipped with the Intel 440BX chipset, and it looks in pretty good condition, except for one thing that I've seen while cleaning the board, so it didn't come like this. And this we need to check under the microscope. So as you can see here, something hit the board on the border. I'm not sure if it caused some damage to the traces, but we have to check this under the microscope. Also, the other side shows us some damage here. I'm not sure if there's something else here. Yeah, so this one we should check under the microscope, and I will definitely try to cover this with solder mask once I got rid of all the loose bits and pieces. This board also is equipped with a soft menu 3, so you should be able to configure the CPU completely in the BIOS. And these dip switches that you see here are already configured that we can use the BIOS to configure our frequency of our CPU. Which brings us to the next item, the CPU. So this is a simple Pentium III with 750 MHz. Luckily, it has a frontside bus of 100 MHz, so we are not going to overclock our HEP bus. There is not much else to say about this, but that brings us to the graphics card. And this is going to be something interesting. Unfortunately, someone went ahead and took the heatsink. There is another problem with this card. As you can see here, the silicon has a small chip in the bottom corner. So I'm not sure if this card is going to work or not, but we will try it anyway. Otherwise, this card looks really good. I haven't seen anything suspicious yet. I will check obviously the card under the microscope. I have to check if all the SMD components on the back are still intact, that these spots are empty. Seems to be okay for the 5700 Ultra, but I wonder if this card would support more memory. But this is something for another day. First, we need to check if that card works. If that card doesn't work, I want to try a backup card that I also found at the scrapyard, which is a Cairo, a 3D Profit 4000 XT PCI. So this one is from Hercules, and it has some scratches here on the PCB, but I don't think there is anything serious. We'll look at this card under the microscope as well, just to make sure that there's nothing obvious that can be fixed before we plug something into a running system. And of course, I also have the heatsink for it. I already cleaned everything, and yeah, it's just a matter of assembling these things. So, and then of course we need sound. Unfortunately, the ABIT board doesn't have any onboard sound, so we need to get a sound card for the system. And for that, I want to use this card. I have never heard of Diamond creating sound cards, but this is a Monster Sound with the Vortex audio chipset. I think this card also exists with Vortex 2. I do not know why this card has only the regular Vortex chipset on it. And we have the Oriel 3D logo here in the bottom right corner. And here on the sticker you can see it's the Monster Sound MX300 PCI S5. Interestingly, I have never heard of this card before. I didn't know when I saw this, like, okay, that looks interesting, let's take it. Of course, also on the motherboard, I will look for any bent pins that are there. I will check into the PCI, HEP and ISA slots to make sure there are no bent contact pins. I tried to clean this card, but you can still see a little bit of the dirt that is stuck to the metal here. Maybe this is just from the usage. But yeah, the card looks in really good condition. Nevertheless, we also look under the microscope, see if we have some issues with the pins. I already can see here in the corner that there are some bent. Make sure that nothing is touching that shouldn't be touching. And just check the SMD components to make sure there is nothing cracked or missing. Luckily, on the back of the card, there are no components. So this makes it a little bit easier to work on this card. And the last thing we're going to use is memory. SD-RAM memory to be precise. This is 133 megahertz, 256 megabytes per stick. So we have a total of 512 megabytes on a board that will run at 100 megahertz frontside bus. So that's fine with me. I just want to see which card works, specifically the nVidia FX5700 Ultra. So let's fire up the microscope and have a look at the motherboard. These dents on the corner, they didn't look so good. Let's see what we find. Okay, then let's start immediately with the slot 1 connector. It looks like it's very clean, no corrosion, and all pins are where they're supposed to be, so that's great. Let's check the HEP slot. Probably some contact cleaner wouldn't be the worst thing. But also this one does look okay. I definitely need to put some contact cleaner on this one. I'll check now the other slots, PCI and the one ISA slot we have on this board. So here in the second PCI slot from the top, this connector is not where it's supposed to be. It's not coming all the way out. So I wonder, this is just stuck here or, oh no, this is bent. That's a bit unfortunate. I need finer tweezers. So yeah, this is, it doesn't feel very strong. I think this broke off. There is no tension on this spring here, nothing. It's very weak, like if I want to pull out this one here, I need some force. It definitely has some resistance, this one doesn't. I don't think I can destroy it more than it is already, so let's just see what I can do. Did you see that? It just broke. Okay, now I have to replace it. I think I got it. Is this it? I mean, I have nothing else here. Yeah. It didn't feel right at all, but the good thing is I don't need to use this PCI slot right now. I just have to memorize which one it is. And I don't know what signal or what voltage or whatever is on that pin. But yeah, we're definitely missing one. It looked like it broke straight, like straight up. There shouldn't be anything bent in there. I don't think I will be able to see. I wonder if I can just replace that pin. I mean, I look at all these. I really wonder if it is possible to replace just one of these pins instead of the entire connector. Well, first I need to figure out which one it is. Well, that starts already out to be something that I have never done before. Let's see if we can just replace one of these pins instead of desoldering the entire PCI connector. I'm really not in the mood for that. Okay, as it turns out, so here's our PCI connector. This is the short piece, and here is our longer section starting. This is the pin that broke off. So I should be able to get this out if I don't mess it up. I'm really good at that. So let's try to get this out. Okay. I'll take the stronger tweezers. No, it's only the tweezers are sliding over the pin, but there is nothing I can do to get this out. If I have the patience, I will try to get this PCI connector off. Okay. Fine. Okay, the PCI connector doesn't seem to short out anything, so whatever is in the PCI connector is not connecting any neighboring pins. I'll just not use this slot for now, and we should be fine. Now the next thing obviously is we need to check that damage that is around that corner. I already had a look at it. It doesn't look good, but it's also not too bad. It might actually work, so we'll have a look at this in a moment. Let me just get these pins here straight. This is always happening when the boards are being taken out of cases. They're just being thrown on big piles of other motherboards, and then most of these connectors will suffer some damage. Here is our Intel South bridge. This is our RAID controller, Highpoint HPT370. Yeah, it could be worse. I think this is actually not damaged. I think it would be better to maybe try to get this big piece off here before using the engraving pen. So yeah, these traces can take some damage. Yeah, so these two traces, they need to go. I need to repair these. They are just too... I'm pretty sure they are too much under stress. Whatever happened here. Yeah, I want to get rid of this unevenness. So that is why we have to get rid of this, unfortunately. I wish I wouldn't, but I would not feel comfortable having this on the board. Okay, this is fixed. Let's check the other side. And this trace is definitely gone, so there's one trace that we need to fix here. So yeah, same procedure as on the other side. And this one is done as well. This one barely made it. I will still remove a little bit of the lifted PCB, but the trace looks okay. I hope the other parts that I picked up aren't that bad. Luckily there's no corrosion on the board. Yeah, it's just being tossed around at the scrapyard. Very annoying when you find something that you're interested in and then it has all these dents and scratches and problems everywhere. The basic system is now assembled. I have installed components which I don't know if they work. So we have the motherboard, which we fixed the dent on the top side of the board. I installed the Pentium 750, which I don't know if it works, but it's rare that a Pentium that was already installed on a board is faulty. I've never had such a case, so I believe that the CPU is working. And I installed 2 sticks of 256 megabytes of SD memory, which I also don't know if it works. But let's first see if the board powers on and if we get postcodes. There is no graphics card in there yet because first I want to see if the board powers on. Okay, let's try. And the board is dead. Okay, so let me try to figure out what's going on. Here we are many hours later, and it looks like there's a problem with the ISA slot, or the board doesn't like my post card. Now I inserted the card into a PCI slot, and let's see what happens. And let's power on. It has the Pentium 750 again in the system. Let's see if we get postcodes. Yes, we do. But we still have a non-working system. Maybe this is memory related. I'm going to replace these single-sided high density with a double-sided normal density memory module. It's also 256 megabytes in total, but I will only use one. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's try one more time with one memory module in the system. One long, two shorts, but postcodes are still running. And we're stuck at 7F. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Let's see what this is all about. Oh, apparently this is video card error. So let's move our video card in a different slot. I cannot use the second one. Let's use the third PCI slot. I have that problem on the second slot where one of the pins broke off. Okay, let's try this one more time. Yes! Yes! Okay. Oof. Let's see. Check some error, yes. And my keyboard doesn't work. Oh my goodness. No, keyboard is dead. Is there really so much wrong with this board? Maybe I need to run some contact cleaner through the connector. Let's try one more time. And oh, I have LEDs on the keyboard, and we are up and running. Okay, so we are at default speeds here. So I guess it defaulted to 66 megahertz. That's why we saw 500 megahertz when we booted up. This is a 750. So we should be able to run this CPU. And yeah, we don't need this one. Let's set the correct date. Today is the 27th of January, 2025. What? Okay. Future or feature ATA? Whatever. I cannot disable this? Okay. So I installed a Matrox Millennium into that system. That means we are not yet running the nVidia 5700 Ultra. Let's see. Okay, so here probably we can set up our RAID controllers and so on, or at least enable and disable our... Oh, here it is. Future, okay, it's called Future ATA IDE controller. Fine, let's keep the Future enabled. Do we have some... I think we should have some temperature readings. I think it's here, just curious. So CPU temperature 38 degrees. Okay, that's good. So I guess the servicing of the CPU was successful. We have below 40 degrees. Both CPU fans are reporting around 5,000 revolutions per minute. So this should be fine. And my keyboard is funny. Interesting. I'm not sure if this will appear again. I had flashing LEDs on my keyboard now, like a disco light. That was weird. So I think this is fine for now. Let's see if we can save and it will boot now without any error messages. Okay, 750. LEDs flashed on the keyboard. And we have the High Point Technologies HPT370. It can't find any devices, and we're done. So the board works. That's good because the board caused some trouble. I will show you one more time what happened when I put the postcard into the ISA slot. It's very weird. Maybe because I moved the graphics card now to a different PCI slot. Maybe it will work now, but let's see. Before, it didn't work when I didn't have any VGA card in that system. So I'm curious what happens now.
Dead. That's weird. No post. And now, post. So this board doesn't like this card, or we have a problem with this ISA slot.
And here's the nVidia GPU. And you can see here is the tiny chip in the silicon. I really wonder if this is going to work. I hope it does. That would be a shame if this caused that GPU to die. Well, this one could be just the chip on the side. My brush is full of flux. If nVidia is edging stuff into the top, I think this should be fine. That card may just work. The corners are all there. This is just some residue from the old thermal paste or glue or whatever was on there. Yeah, that might just work. So, okay, yeah, I was afraid of that. I'll figure that out later, because if this entire GPU doesn't work, then I don't have to bother right now with trying to solder on one of these, I don't know, 402s or whatever this is. This is super small. But yeah, that is probably what damaged the die. So something moved over the substrate, and luckily it didn't damage anything. It didn't scratch the top of the substrate. And all of the other SMD components seem to be good. The question is, what is in this corner here? Worst case, I measure this one, just because it's also angled. And this one. They may all be the same, but they have different colors. I'll go with the corner one. I have no other GPU that I can use as a reference. Let's just run this card without this capacitor right now. And then we'll see if I can add that back. Anyway, I don't have a cooler. I will not reassemble this. I need to put some temporary heatsink on this thing, because yeah, I don't have a proper heatsink. Let's just hope that this crack here on the bottom is not going to cause any issues. Okay, what else do we have on the board? Let's see if maybe we have something else that's missing on this card. Ooh. What? I think there's an inductor missing. Maybe it's one of these. I probably will find pictures that I can read the value of, and then I will just replace that spot here with an appropriate inductor. But there is stuff missing, so yeah, like this the card will not work. So we have Samsung memory chips here, and here too. I wonder, this memory chip looks a little bit funny. You can see that in the camera. I wonder what happened here, and if this is a burn mark or not. Ha, no. It's not. Okay. It was just someone's fatty fingers, probably mine. Okay, what else? So, only an inductor is missing. This is a long shot trying to get this thing to work, but if it does work, that would be great. Then I just need to find a proper heatsink. Okay, it looks like we need an inductor like this. And this is a 1R0, which I'll steal off of a dead HP laptop. Now this one is connected to large copper planes. Almost. Here we go. Wow. That was a lot of heat needed to get this off. So let's see if this thing still works. Yep. Okay, good. This one too? Yeah, it's just solder. This would be a pain to get this one in here. Oh, let's see if it has the correct size. It definitely looks a little bit different than all the others, but... Haha, it looks like this HP laptop is going to save... Well, we don't know yet, but it will definitely make the circuit work again. But who knows if this nVidia chip is going to work. I think this is perfect. I think we're done. Well, my inductor looks a lot more modern. Well, that inductor is actually from a PCB from an 8th gen Intel i5 laptop from HP. Unfortunately, when the owner of the laptop plugged in a USB device, I don't know exactly what, was it a charger or was it something else? The chipset portion of the CPU blew up. At least I think it's the chipset portion. So you can see that here, after I injected some voltage, there is something lighting up in that chip. And this is a short, and this is the end of the laptop. So yeah, I'm also trying to apply my knowledge that I gained through all the retro hardware repairs on more modern electronics. Now we just need to clean up. And then we can try this graphics card. I'm really curious. Of course, we can play a game and you can let me know if you think that card will work or not before I power it on. Write it in the comments. And now our card is nice and clean. And let's put that in the system and see what happens. So first I want to add a simple AGP card now to make sure that the AGP slot works. And then we can try the nVidia card if we get a picture output. That would be great. Now a very basic ATI graphics card, I think this is a 9000 something. Let's see if we get a picture. Yes! I think this card doesn't show any splash screen, that's fine. I'm not interested in this card anyway. I know now the AGP bus is working. Now let's plug in the nVidia card and somehow add a heatsink. Okay, the problem with this entire setup is that if there is one wrong move, that's it. So I need to be extremely careful. I just want to quickly see if I see an output or not. Well, that would be interesting. Let's see. Moment of truth. It works. Now I need to find a heatsink. The 5700 Ultra works. Nice. Of course, there could be issues with the memory and we have image corruption and so on. I'm not sure. I cannot test it without a cooler. So it's very unfortunate that somebody took the cooler. That's great that this card works, but now I want to use a card that I can leave there without me holding a heatsink or whatsoever together. And that's why we need to also look at the Cairo. That's the next part. Okay, and here is our Cairo 3D Prophet 4000 XT 64 megabytes. I didn't see any issues. I didn't look at this card under the microscope, but this one looks pretty decent. I don't think we have issues with this one. So they had this one here at the back with some thermal paste, so I will do the same. I'll just make sure that we have some additional heat transfer from the PCB to this little thing here. Now, I know this one is always a little bit of a hassle. Okay. I think this is okay now. Okay. Now it should be good. Now we'll add some thermal paste on the Cairo chip and try to get our heatsink, our active cooler attached to the card again. Okay, one is there. And the other one, this will be a nightmare now. Oh. No, it wasn't a nightmare. The cooler is back on the card. How was this before? I have a feeling it was like this. Some weird... like this, I think. Okay. Yeah, that feels right. Yeah, that should be it. Let's see if this card works. Okay, the last item for today that needs to be tested if it works, and then I don't know if I will still continue to investigate what's going on with this ISO slot, what's happening with the memory sticks that didn't work in that motherboard, and yeah, replacing the PCI slot. But I think this is all stuff I will do off camera. I wanted to test these 4 items: the motherboard, the CPU, the nVidia graphics card, the Cairo. Oh, I forgot, we still have the Diamond Monster sound card. Yeah, so this is coming after that. Let's just see if this Cairo works. Okay, fan is spinning. Yes! We get the Cairo splash screen. Okay, here's our sound card. There are SMD caps, and here's our Vortex chip, which has just a little bit of a bent pin here. And here we are. Okay, good. All the SMD caps look also in good condition. I think I came at the right time. There was not much thrown on top of this card. Okay, the rest looks fine. So let's see if we can play some sound on the Windows. So I have to also install the Cairo. I think this is the main issue here for the bad visuals right now. And we're only missing the audio driver now. So let's go and look at the Diamond drivers. I got them here. Let's see. Okay, install mode. Okay, PCI audio. Monster Sound 2. Okay, DOS support. You may choose additional components by checking the boxes below. Ah, okay. I cannot have any audio utilities. Well, it does install something. Okay, installation complete. Let's see. Will we get sound? Now, this is the Cairo, I believe. Okay, I should remove this. Okay. Let's restart and see what happens. Okay, that's a good sign, hopefully. Oh, Monster Sound 2, multifunction parent. Okay. Device. Monster Sound 2 PCI audio, very nice. But do we get some sound output? Oh, there we go. Okay. And we have the game port. Oh, how many other devices are there? Oh, MPU 401. There we go. And Sound Blaster Pro emulation. Wow. It works. And we have a nice little note here. Diamond Monster Sound. Okay. So I have driver version 1.02. I got this from Vogon's driver library. And do we have now something else? Where could there be something else? I think it installed something here. What else do we have here? Uninstall control panel. Okay. Volume control? Okay, it's just the regular mixer. Yeah, apparently there are other things that you can do with the sound card. There are some additional utilities, but they didn't come with this installation utility. Oh, okay. I can run some demos. Let's see if that works. Oh, okay. So I guess this is because whatever I used for drivers were the minimum. They were like 15 megabytes. I guess you need the full CD-ROM to install all features, which may not have been part of the drivers that I downloaded from Vogon's. But that's okay. Let's just see if we can play a game with Monster Sound. And let's see if we can get a monster kill. Nice. I think we need more bots. How about 15? Okay. And we need some firepower. Okay. Monster kills.
First blood, double kill, multi-kill, ultra kill. Killing spree.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't manage to get a monster kill in because my keyboard started to fail again.
Double kill, multi-kill, ultra kill, rampage, monster kill, kill.
And then the other thing that needs to be fixed on this board is this PCI slot. This has the broken pin. I cannot do anything about it. I have to replace it. And finally, I need to figure out if this ISA slot is working. I may just take a simple sound card and see if it works. Maybe there's an issue with the post card and this board just doesn't like it. And finally, I don't know why these memory modules didn't work. I will try it again. I haven't tried it. Maybe this is just something the board doesn't like. Maybe it requires double-sided DIMMs. Okay, what else did we see today? We have a working Cairo, a 3D Prophet 4000 XT with 64 megabytes for the PCI slot from Hercules. So this is very nice that this card works. Then we heard sounds from this sound card, the Diamond Monster Sound with Vortex chipset and Aureal 3D. This is something I have never experienced before, and I think this sound card deserves a dedicated video in the future as well. And then we had a little bit of a surprise with this graphics card. So this is the GeForce FX5700 Ultra. I was not expecting this to work, especially that it had some issues here with the missing inductor, and as it looks like just somebody was more interested in the cooler than the card itself. Nevertheless, the card works. I think it works. I mean, I didn't test it in 3D, but well, it powered on and it gave us a picture under DOS, and this is all I could test today. And finally, of course, the Pentium III 750 that powered the entire system today. So, this is all I have for you today. Let me know if you owned any of these parts in the past. Would you want to see one of these items one more time in a dedicated video? Then please let me know in the comments. Also, if someone has, by accident, the cooler to this card and you want to get rid of it, let me know. There is a card that waits for a cooler. Maybe there's aftermarket coolers which I can look for. Yeah. And otherwise, you know what to do. If you like the video, press the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And if you want to support my work, you can head over to Patreon and pick one of the memberships. There's also a free tier if you just want to browse the free content I'm posting from time to time. And that is all. So thank you so much for your time, thanks for watching, and I will see you in one of my future videos. Take care and bye bye.